epidemiologist says about lockdowns. There's a range of advice, and there's a balance that we have to strike. I think I would just stress that we're not going back to we're not closing schools. It's very, very important that we're keeping schools open. Construction, manufacturing, we want to keep going. People, of course, should work from home. We want to minimise contact and get the R down, and that's the important thing. That's the way to protect the NHS. But I'm not going to pretend to you that these judgments aren't incredibly difficult. They are incredibly difficult, and we have to find the right balance, and we have to change with the changing pattern of the virus. And alas, what we're seeing now is a pretty consistent surge, not just in this country, but across many of our friends and partners in Europe. So we have to deal with it, Beth.
In terms of the timing, the idea that there is some perfect time to act is a complete misapprehension. There is basically no perfect time, and there are no good solutions. All the solutions are bad. And what we're trying to do is have the fewest, the least bad set of solutions at a time which you actually achieve the balance that needs to be struck between all these things that ministers have to make decisions on. And in terms of making festivities, whether it's Christmas or any other religious tradition, we would have a much better chance of doing it with these measures than we would if these measures were not being taken today. And I think let us see how this goes over the next few weeks.
Thanks very much, Chris. Let's go to, and thanks, Beth. Let's go to Romilly Weeks of ITV News.
Prime Minister, thank you. The route out of the first lockdown was supposed to be local restrictions and test and trace. Now those have shown to be totally inadequate. Why do you think that they will help to get us out of a second lockdown? And the medical, if I may, do you believe a month of lockdown will be enough to allow families to be together at Christmas? And do you believe, like the Prime Minister, that things will be better by spring?
Well, Romilly, first on why I think the local approach remains the right approach, and what I talked about what we're going to do with the lateral flow testing, the mass testing, the LAMP testing, all kinds of testing that we're going to be already are rolling out. That works so well if you have local buy-in, local support, local organisations, local councils, public health directors, everybody involved together. And that the same applies to all the measures that we want to put in place. That's why the regional approach was right. One reason why the regional approach was right. Second reason is if the local approach was right. Second reason, as I say, when you have a situation in which, in a very big country with a huge population, you have very considerable disparities in incidence, it's logical not to treat the whole country the same. And you heard that point made by Jonathan Van Tam and others very recently. And I think that holds a lot of water. The trouble we've got, I'm afraid, Romilly, is that the local leadership and the local initiatives, the tiers they were in, they made progress. I mean, they did get the R down in the areas or lower than it would otherwise have been. No question. They made a huge, their sacrifices, their effort made a huge difference. And perhaps if we continued, that it really would have worked in those areas. The problem was that we were just seeing too many cases really taking off across the whole country, and it wasn't coming down fast enough in those most badly affected areas, and so you have to take a judgment, and we have to try now to get this thing, to get the R right under control with the measures that we're setting out. Then as I said, to come out of it in December, and hopefully people will have something a bit closer to a normal Christmas as a result. But more important than that, we will be able to spare the NHS and save a lot of lives, and that's the fundamental objective.